In an age long forgotten, where the echoes of forgotten gods lingered still, there lay a land of unyielding fjords and fierce seas. Here in the heart of the Viking realm, amidst the heather-covered hills and whispering woods, dwelt Ragnar Lothbrok, a chieftain of unbridled spirit and keen ambition. His was a countenance marked by valor, yet in the depth of his gaze lingered shadows of a world unseen. The biting winds of the north sang of glory and the sagas of old, yet Ragnar's heart was stirred by a yearning unknown, a restless whisper in the quiet hours of the night. His village, where wooden longhouses huddled close under the embrace of the mountains, was a place of familiar comfort. The folk there spoke often of the deeds of their ancestors, of raids upon foreign shores and bounties claimed beneath the watchful eyes of the Norse gods. Still, Ragnar felt the bounds of his world all too keenly, like the fencing of a caged wolf. Mighty though he was in this haven of his kin, the horizon ever seemed to beckon with promises unfulfilled and realms untrodden. Yet amidst this realm of hard-won peace, a foreboding cloud gathered. The elders spoke in hushed tones of omens ill and strange. Ravens circled low, their wings dark against the ashen sky, and the earth seemed to groan with secrets untold. It was on such a day, when the sky itself brooded, that an old wanderer came hither, clad in a cloak the color of midnight. He bore tidings from a land afar, whispered of a relic forgotten by time, an ancient amulet said to bind the fates of men and gods alike. A relic, he murmured in a voice soft as the grave, yet powerful as thunder, at the crossroads of worlds. Dare ye seek it? This pronouncement, carried on the chill of the wind, struck Ragnar like the forge's hammer upon anvil, awakening within him a fire untamed. But Ragnar hesitated, bound as he was by duty to his people and the ties of hearth and home. The call to adventure laid upon him a heavy choice, to venture beyond the comforts of his kin and into lands unknown, fraught with both perils and wonders. The hours drew on, and Ragnar, though beset by the fire of desire, felt the weight of his heritage's chains. The waters of the fjord lapped against the aged timbers of his ship, each wave casting his reflection back at him, a reflection no longer sure. The village, his sanctuary, seemed now a realm of constraints. His people, their eyes bright with the hearth's warmth, were his charge, his legacy. How, then, could he leave them to pursue a fate uncertain? A whisper shadowed in the vagaries of destiny. The night crept in, swathed in a cloak of stars. Ragnar wandered, his mind a storm of doubt and duty, until he came upon an ancient temple, its stones steeped in the mists of time. Here, where the air felt thick with the breath of the ancients, he sought solace, yet his heart remained troubled, the call relentless in its serenade. It was there an unexpected figure appeared, an old man whose eyes gleamed as the moon hung low, his beard white as the snows upon the distant peaks. This was Bjorn the Wise, once a sage of renown, now thought vanished beyond the world's waking bounds. He spoke not at first, only stood with a knowing look that pierced Ragnar's every defense. "Speak truly, child of Lothbrok," said he at last, his voice a melody of deep wells. "Shall the world hold you captive when the winds of fate call your name?" Ragnar voiced his fears, the chains of loyalty and the shadows of doubt. "Every path is marred by shadow and light," replied the sage. "Yet it is the way of the heartless to heed neither. You must go, for the sake of those who shall follow and those yet unborn. All the world is at stake in this quest, though your steps may feel but a ripple in the great torrent of the ages." Thus did Bjorn become his guide, his mentor in matters beyond the flesh and steel. He armed Ragnar with knowledge of lands beyond the ken of Midgard, where elves and dwarfs hold counsel and ancient oaths bind time itself. And there, beneath the ancient boughs, Ragnar felt at last a resolve growing, a strength to tread the paths unknown and seek the relic entwined with fate. Upon the dawn's first breath, sky turned from velvet to silver. Ragnar stood at the threshold of his world, the ship ready for the long journey ahead. The sea called with its siren song, weaving through waves both gentle and fierce. He would leave behind the familiar embrace of his homeland, and in his gaze was written the promise of return, not unchanged, but reborn. With a crew chosen for their mettle, Ragnar crossed the threshold, the prow of his ship breaking the chill waters of the fjord. Here began a tale unwritten, a crossing from the known into the realms of legend, where his feet would wend upon paths old and new toward the fate that awaited. The sea stretched out, endless and vast. As the wind filled his sails with the breath of the gods, Ragnar felt the weight of both burden and hope upon his shoulders. Behind, the land of his ancestors fell away like a receding tide, while before him lay the expanse of possibility. Days turned to nights, and nights to days, the world of men behind and the realm of legend ahead. At last, they saw a distant shore, one not marked upon any map known to the world of Midgard. Rugged and wild, this land exhaled an air of mystery. It stood apart in beauty and danger alike, and in it Ragnar saw the beginnings of his quest's fruition. Here was a realm unlike his own. Forests deep and old, whispered in tongues ancient as the stones themselves. The wildlife, unyoked and mighty, were unlike any beast of his memories. He understood this was the special world, governed by rules unknown to the humble laws of men. He was drawn to a path that wound through groves and over hills toward a mountain that wore a crown of cloud. Yet as he and his crew delved farther into this world, they met both friend and foe, tests of courage and wisdom upon them at every turn. A band of elves, whose arrows sang through the air, led him further still, while name and title seemed to matter not, only deed and honor. As trials unfolded, Ragnar found himself tested and called to depths of bravery and cunning hitherto unknown. Thus was set the beginning of a saga mighty and strange, of heroes and deeds, of light against shadow, in a land that danced between myth and in the heart of the special world, where shadow and light wove their ancient dance, Ragnar and his stalwart crew pressed onward, ever deeper into the tapestry of myth and mystery. The elves, those ethereal custodians of the woods, had spoken of a place called the Glimmering Vale, where paths unseen to mortal eyes lay hidden beneath veils of enchantment. Yet, ere he could unravel the mysteries they had whispered, Ragnar found himself set upon by trials of both heart and will. A great forest, ageless and vast, spread before him, its branches intertwining like the fingers of ancient gods. The cool air was thick with the scent of pine and moss, an earthy perfume that whispered secrets of the world beneath the boughs. Here, where sunlight filtered through a canopy of emerald, Ragnar and his companions met Eolande, a wise and enigmatic enchantress whose presence was as elusive as the morning mist. She stood amidst the trees, her eyes a depthless pool of azure. In a voice like the sigh of a distant sea, she bid them welcome, though her smile bore the weight of knowledge yet to be shared. "Know you seek the amulet, child of Lothbrok?" she queried, an echo of Bjorn's own melody of wisdom. Ragnar bowed his head in acknowledgement, for words felt but shadows against the luminescence of her presence. Eolanda spoke of the trials yet to unfold, a crucible not merely of strength and valor, but of wisdom and spirit. The path to the amulet was fraught not with monsters of flesh, but with the tempests of the soul. For within the glimmering veil lay hidden ways, reflections of one's true self, and shadows of what might have been. With a guidance born of understanding beyond the ken of men, she led them through the forest, where each step seemed to carry them not forward but inward toward revelations unseen. In this realm, time moved as a river, both swift and slow. Here, when night fell, the stars themselves seemed to sing of destinies awaiting fulfillment. Thus arrived the time of testing, a grove, sacred and untouched by mortal hand, wherein each companion must face their inner selves. Ragnar, with a stealing breath, stepped into the circle of stones. In that sanctified ground, reflections danced not upon water but the air itself, showing truths and half-truths, life past and unrealized futures. Was it real or a mere dalliance of the mind? Ragnar saw himself not as chieftain but farmer, saw a life beset not by battles but by kinship and warmth. The echoes of children's laughter filled the air, as sweet and haunting as a mirage. He stumbled, heart torn between longing for what seemed an easier road and the duty to his quest which grew in clarity. He emerged then, a visage transformed by hues resolute, having made his choice. Each of his crew mustered their own resolve, the grove having revealed their deepest fears and unspoken desires. As dawn wove her golden fingers through the branches above, Eoland gifted Ragnar a token, a gem spun of starlight and moonbeam, meant to guide him through the labyrinth that lay ahead. With thanks profound, he and his companions took their leave, the weight of unseen eyes upon their broadening path. Thus did Ragnar embark upon the next chapter of his journey, a dance of peril and promise upon the world's forgotten fringes. The wind, a faithful harbinger, whispered tales of trials yet unmet, of fates entwined with both ancient prophecy and burgeoning saga in the making. Yet for now, Ragnar pressed onward, the compass of his heart aligned with purpose noble and true. Their path led further into the heart of the special world, where the land itself seemed an intricate scroll of verdant tapestry. Trails shimmered as lacework over the hills, unraveled webs of ancient soitins where song and myth breathed life. This was a place of wonders, yet veiled in shadow equally, where specters of dreams walked beside men in their waking. Amidst this realm, Ragnar's heart beat with the cadence of a saga, for ahead lay the misty river, whose waters bore the enchantments of old. Tread wisely, Eoland had warned, for the river holds in its depths the knowledge of time and the secrets enfolded by the ages. Yet those very waters would whisper truths to souls prepared, mirroring both light and storm. With wary steps, the band of adventurers approached the river's brink, where the mists hung as gossamer, weaving around them with a curious sentience. It was said the river cleaved to neither world, its currents wandering between realms, much as a dream begs the heart's desire. Ragnar paused on the bank, the air rich with the scent of linden and yarrow, challenged by an enchantment unseen but deeply felt. Before him stood Sylvan, one destined to guard the rites of passage, eyes shimmering like twilight as the stars beckoned upon him. "Your journey will be constrained not simply by the beasts of men nor the perils beyond," intoned Sylvan, with a voice akin to the breeze stroking a summer's eve, "but by the strength of your spirit and the design of your hope. Here lies the test of the heart's verity." The warrior, bold in heart yet faithful in deed, bowed before the guardian, accepting with solemnity the task bestowed upon him. Each companion leaned forth in reverence, respectful of both the guardian and this hallowed crossing. With Sylvan's blessing, they took to the small boats, carved from the woods of forgotten lore. Mist rolled over the river, concealing the far banks where visions danced upon crystalline waters, echoes of lives not yet lived or paths untrodden. As their craft drifted silently, each mariner was enveloped within a trance, the river spinning its web of past, present, and future around their senses. Shadows flickered over the waters, images drawn from memory and dream alike. To Ragnar's eyes, the river showed a beacon, a tower of silver and light, crowned by stars and guarded by beings of celestial grace. 'Twas a vision to stir the soul, propelling him toward his destiny, a fate intertwined with threads of prophecy, bearing both burden and promise. Gradually, dawn's light broke through the mists, drawing them through the river's enchantment and back into waking reality. With a gentle nudge, they reached the opposing shore, having faced their trials with steadfast heart and spirit unwavering. Upon the bank, Sylvan awaited, a knowing smile upon his face. "Well have you braved the river's trials, child of Lothbrok," he acclaimed. "Go forth, for ahead lies the labyrinth of your choosing, each step a moment in the annals of time." Ragnar and his loyal companions set forth anew, invigorated by their passage, seeking the beacon glimpsed upon the waters. With hope's gale at their heel, they journeyed forth, committing their fates once more to the hands of destiny itself.